Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to lecture number 9, Literature Review Part 2. Today we will discuss about the writing annotated summary for the literature review. Let's have a recap from the last lecture. We discussed about what the literature review is. We also discussed about the meaning of the review in the literature review. And we discussed about why and when we should use it. There were different organization techniques for a good literature review, examples of the literature review, the starting process of the literature review, and today we will highlight and focus on the annotated bibliography. So today's learning outcome will be you will be able to write annotated bibliography for your final year project, research paper, or any technical report. What are the different citation styles that we can use in the bibliography? We will discuss few points about the citation management softwares. The contents include annotated bibliography to the literature review. We will see how this annotated bibliography will be done into a literature review. Citations, different type of citations, for example APA. Formats of the annotated summary. There are mainly two different formats we will explore: descriptive and descriptive plus evaluative summary paragraphs. There are some examples, interesting examples for you, like power system stability, annotated bibliography for that one, and another annotated bibliography for the IoT. Some key references for your that will help you when you are writing your annotated bibliography, and a homework. That homework is important because this way, by this homework, you will develop a annotated bibliography, and then we will conduct, after having this homework done, we will conduct, based on your homework, we will develop a lecture on the literature review, how to turn that annotated bibliography into a literature review. So in annotated bibliography to literature review, it's basically what you do is, from, let's say this is your research paper number 1, and from this source 1 or research paper 1, initially you put the citation or reference in APA style, for example, or other style, and then you write a paragraph after that which summarizes the source. It's the main points discussed in the source and the relevant points to the to your topic. And the same thing you do for the other source. So annotated bibliography means for one source you actually cite it well and you write a paragraph related to getting a summary out of it, and then you turn to the second source, you cite it well, and then you write a paragraph, and so on for source number 3, source number 4, and so on. And after that, what we will do is, after you are done with your annotated bibliography, the research literature review, let's say there is a paragraph number 1 from body paragraph 1 from the literature review. Source number 1 and source number 4, for example, together are providing the summary and citations for and the material for paragraph number 1. And there is something added here. This is called topic sentence. The topic sentence means source number 1 and source number 4 might be talking about the problem, or might be talking about the challenge, or they may be discussing about the solution. So together, both source number 1 and source number 4, they will together comprise the body paragraph number 1. And to join this one, there will be a topic sentence. This topic sentence will actually explain the information being presented in this paragraph. And we will collect the evidences from the sources, and then we will add something which is called discussion. This is your synthesis, and you elaborate more on the topic in this paragraph, and you need to add like a transition sentence to the next paragraph. And so different sources will comprise to one paragraph in the literature review that we will do in the third video. Your work will be focusing on generating this annotated bibliography. And So coming back to this literature review site, so we will have the first paragraph, then we will have the second paragraph. The second paragraph may be by using source number 2 and source number 3, and then the body paragraph number 3 might be based on source number 4 and 5, and so on. And in the end we will add the introduction to this literature review and a conclusion. And finally, after adding these two things, conclusion and introduction, we will add this citation list. And this citation list, the reference page, which will come in the end of the literature, it will be basically the coming from these citations from the annotated bibliography. Okay. So in annotated bibliography, it's basically a list of citations in the standard referencing styles. For example, APA, MLA, and Chicago style. We will discuss it later. And then it will be having a short paragraph, 150 to 200, or even sometimes 300 words, which is like a summary evaluating the source. This is what you will develop, and they are usually in the alphabetical order by the name of authors. So how to create an annotated bibliography? We first locate the academic sources on your narrowed topic. This is very important because a lot of literature is available. You don't need to take any of them. You have to be very careful, narrow down to your topic and find the very appropriate sources. And then you have to use, it's better to use the citation managers. On databases nowadays, you can export directly from the citations from the downloading page. So citation manager is good to manage all your stuff for a topic. And then you read and take notes, focusing on what are the main points and what are the findings of this author or the source, what kind of methodology. You can go back about the way you were thinking about writing the abstract, or you were writing about the abstract. It's always good to go back and keep thinking about the main areas you are working for. So main topic, findings and methodology, and then try to look for answers of your questions. For example, how well this source address your topic, and does it cover the topic thoroughly or just one aspect? And also do the research method seems appropriate. Okay, so the method that they use and the methods that you are going to use, if they are far apart, so you may not use that source. So does it agree with or contradict other writings on the same topic, and how is it useful for your purposes? These are some sample questions. You can develop your own, or mostly the professor or the advisor will give you some guidelining questions that will help you in finding out the related source and the information. And finally, you write your own, and finally you write the annotation following a given structure. Why do the need to cite? It's very important. It is needed when the words and ideas that are not your own. It's very important. If you read something, some ideas from others, so when you are reproducing it, you have to properly cite and refer to that source. Citation and proper referencing is important. It is important to give the due credit and respect to the original authors, and also it allows readers, your professors or whoever is reading your literature review, to locate the original source. This is very important. And of course, when you are using important and quality research work in your literature review, so it improves your credibility and authenticity of what you are doing. If you bring something and you say, okay, there is no literature review available for that work, so this is a big doubt that what kind of area you are trying to discover in which no one has done anything. So if you don't cite, it is plagiarism. So what is plagiarism? This is something using someone else's idea and work without giving the proper credit, and this is like an intellectual theft. And this can be this can be intentional, or it can be unintentional, but plagiarism may result in serious consequences. We have to be very careful that whatever we do, we should avoid plagiarism. And there are some international and local policies to deal with plagiarism. And of course, DSU is also following, there is HEC policy on plagiarism, and we are following that one. So I will update this on LMS. When should we cite? Whenever we use some words or ideas from other sources. Whenever any kind of like an idea or some kind of a words we are using from other, it may be book, it may be an article, it may be a website, some figures, or you want to improve some graphs or images, we will see what to do with them. And the citation ways are two. Either you are restating the idea in your own words, so this is paraphrasing, or you may be using the exact words, so which is like you are quoting them. And your responsibility when you cite, whenever you cite, there are you have two responsibilities. For example, there are two places in which you have to give the credit. For example, the first one is in text citation. In text citation, for example, when you are using within the body of your work or the paper or the report, you have to mention the name, and then in the references you have to give the full details. And in the bibliography or works cited, so that anyone can locate that and verify the information you are giving and referring to someone. So this is your responsibility if you are trying to use some ideas or trying to extend the work done by others. These two places. So citation styles, there are plenty of styles, but the style should be consistent throughout your work, and mostly it is specified by the publications, and these are the publication details to be included, and the order in text citation, and the formatting and order. So basically a citation means these are the things. They have a style. These four things make, for example, the style. What is the formatting, and what kind of details you are trying to put, and how you are going to put or refer within the citation, and how you are going to put it in the reference. So what are the citation styles? Some major citation styles are like Modern Language Association's MLA, American Physiological Association, APA, and then Chicago and CSE, Council of Science Editors, and IEEE, Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineer. Mostly as electrical engineer, we are using APA and IEEE styles. Here is an example of APA style. This is how the reference page is developed in APA. CSE style, this is how, and it is called works cited in APA. In MLA, it is also called reference, just like in APA. So these are the three styles of referencing in this citation. Now APA and IEEE citations, as we are going to use them most of the time. So in IEEE, in text citation is like you use the statement rephrased, and in the end you use a bracket and the numerical number. While in APA we use the name first, the author name, and the year of publication in parentheses. And in reference, in IEEE, here comes the name, and then the structural, the name of the article, the general article name, and then we have the volume and the issue number, the page numbers, and the date and year. In APA also the same information comes, but you see the author name is here, and the second is the date comes next to the author name in APA, while in IEEE it is in the end. Then comes the name of the title of the paper, and then we have the journal name, and the page numbers are you see the page number are a little different in APA and IEEE, and also the way in APA the volume and number and the issue number are put in together in APA. So this is a little difference between the APA and IEEE citation styles. Also, if you are trying to use some figures, So the way is like this, in APA style, and this is the full reference to that one. You're using some figures from here, and this is another one. This is in IEEE format, how to cite the figures from somewhere else, and basically this is used, and this is an extended, and this is very good. You should try to use this thing, that even if you do some extensions or drastically, and so it is better to write clearly that this is the extended version of the figure 2.1 from 9. So should I memorize all of this? There are so many details, but the good news is no. You don't need to memorize all the details for each citations. You just need to consult. You just need to know, okay, what kind of citation style you are going to use, and then you have to consult the manual for when you are writing the citations or making the annotated bibliography. And there are other styles that might be useful and requested by the publishers. For example, when you submit to a specific journal, they may ask you, okay, put your references in so and so style. Citation styles. So there are some references here for your future work whenever you like it. MLA, APA, Chicago notes, and the author date utilization. So now we will see one example of an APA style in text citation and the reference list entry. In citation, you can use, for example, water is a necessary part of every person's diet and of all the nutrients a body needs to function. It requires more water each day than any other nutrient. Whitney, so the author name is here, Whitney, and the year of publication. Or you can also rephrase like this. You put the name here, author name and the year, and then you state the body, they state the body requires many nutrients and so on. Or you can also write it like, water is an essential element of the of anyone's diet, and Whitney and Rolls emphasizes. So you see, just like now you have used emphasize it more. So there are around 1, 2, and 3 or more ways to use in APA in citation in text citations, and this is how the reference will be made in the reference list. So writing annotated summary is important. So citation details set out the same style as reference list item them. A short statement is important that explains the main topics or the purpose of the work. A short summary of the theory, research findings, or arguments. And then you need to provide some considerations of the usefulness or the limitations of the text. So and finally an evaluative comment on the work. So these are all when you are reading any sort of work. So these are all the possible ways in which you can make a small summary. So if you try to utilize only citation details, the short statement which explains the main focus, which explains just the main focus or the purpose of the work, and you just describe the main findings, this will be only a descriptive summary. You don't evaluate. But if you also evaluate, for example, consideration of the usefulness or the limitations of the text, so you are trying to evaluate. When you try to evaluate and make an evaluation comment, so this becomes like the descriptive plus evaluative summary. So annotated summary can be comprised of the first three steps, or it may be comprised of the all 5 steps in which you also evaluate. You critically comment on it, and so on. Now for example, for power system stability. So this is annotated bibliography on power system stability in IEEE Transition Power System 1996. And this is like annotated summary from 1986 to 1994, and it goes like this. You will have a reference, and then you have a paragraph describing that one. You have a reference here, and then you have a complete paragraph talking about that thing. For example, here an integrated real-time closed loop controller for normal and emergency operation of power system. This is the research paper or the source, and here is the developed summary, annotated summary of this, the development of an integrated real-time closed loop system, which summarizes whatever has been discussed here in this. And then comes the second reference, and the paragraph after that. Now there is an example of the IoT based summary. This is an annotated bibliography of IoT done in 2016, and the contents are categorized in the 5 areas: the Internet of Things, the security, the encryption, and the data ownership, and the consumer convenience, and so on. So here also goes like this. You have the reference and then the paragraph. For example, here, so this is for security. This is one source, and then the complete is a summary of that one. Then there comes the second source citation, and then this the summary of that one. Here for the data ownership, there is one source, its summary, another source, and then its summary, and so on. So this is how annotated summaries are prepared. See, for example, here, and you can and here this can be, the summary can be descriptive or descriptive plus evaluative. Some key references for annotated bibliography: you can go to University of Newcastle, and these are all the sources that I used in developing and more than this lecture. So in the end, the task is you have to write an annotated summary of the 5 sources on a single topic. Now the summary should be around 200 words, and it's better to use the APA format for the citations. Now some instruction about the topic. I will upload some research papers on different topics. Now you have to select only one research paper, okay, and then you have to find 4 more sources by yourself on the same topic. So the total will be 5, and then you have to write an annotated summary out of those 5 sources. So this ends this lecture, and inshallah once you are done with your assignment and you submit your annotated summary, I will prepare the last lecture on the sequence on literature review that will teach us that how to turn an annotated summary into a good literature review. Thank you.